All right. Hello. Welcome back to the channel. Laura and I are back with Meanwhile Elsewhere today covering Escape Velocity Protocol, episode 4 of Murderbot on Apple TV. I'm going to just come out and say that this is the best episode of the season so
This episode was
far.
hilarious.
The way I guffawed on multiple occasions out loud. Out loud.
I definitely kind of scream yell laughed at one point.
I did like a ah.
Yeah, one of those.
It was, I don't know, there's so much going on with this one in terms of like we get that really cool like world building opening moment that I
Yeah.
really liked. And the wild part is after that sequence finished, I had to pause it for whatever reason and then looked at like how far into the episode I was and I was like, "Oh my god, we're getting close to halfway done now. That sucks." And you know it's a good show when you see how much time has passed and you only have so much of the episode left and you're like, "Damn."
I think I looked when there was 9 minutes left. And so, like what you were saying, how you only had a few minutes left, and you were like, no. I think I looked when there was 9 minutes left, and I was like, no way. This could not have gone by that fast.
Yeah. I don't Okay, so the greedy part of me wishes that they had cut it to 5 episodes this season and each episode was an hour long, but at the same time, like, I get why they're doing it. For one, I'm sure they want people to keep their Apple subscription for, like, 10 weeks versus
Right.
5 weeks, which, as they do.
I don't know. They have a lot of good stuff on there, though.
Yeah, they do. I just think I don't know, I had a lot of, like I wasn't quite sure when it started what the tone was gonna be like, so I was a little bit hesitant going in, like, "Oh, this looks, like, funny." I wasn't expecting it to be so comedic.
I really wasn't expecting it to be comedic no matter what happens. And there's I think one of my favorite parts of the show right now is those the opening narration that Murderbot does, and
Yeah.
today's was babies so creepy.
Yes, yes.
Though I think my favorite might have been humans on some level must know how weird they are.
Right. No, like, okay, for one, it's funny, but secondly, if you're looking at it through the eyes of a machine who is kind of, like, grossed out by human biology, like, it just fits so well, his kind of, like, knee-jerk reactions, like, "Ugh, gross, children." But how, like he's very much, Murderbot's very much looking at its creation story, how it's built in this tech lab, and how it's kind of I don't know, you get the feeling that Murderbot is kind of I don't wanna say proud, but, this is a respectable origin in a way where, like, clean, sanitary, and that I think that works.
Oh, definitely. I definitely think that that works. I also think that adding such a comedic element to it really kind of elevates it in a way,
Mhm.
to where it's not just another serious drama, where this one has it kind of wears a lot of hats. We've got really serious stuff going on, but the team is not exactly spec ops prepared.
No, no. I think that was another one of my favorite aspects is getting to see how they react in a situation of really tense, like, militarized combat scenario and how
A
messy it
mining
is.
drill. They're better with a mining drill than a gun.
Yes,
So,
yes. Do we wanna start with Mensah and kind of talk about her,
yeah.
I guess, storyline this episode? Because it all kicks off where she's missing, and the preservation team is in full freak out, like, "Where is she? Where is she? What's happening?"
Right. So we come in on her kind of, really battling internally on what to do here. Does she leave? Does she go back to the hopper? Or does
Right.
she stay and try and help? And ultimately she stays and tries to help, but the interaction between her and Pingley. Respectfully, I think you're
Yeah,
wrong. I also love how, like, when everybody's unhappy with something, they're like, so uncool. That's not cool.
it's very, I don't know, it almost feels very like Gen Z coded. Like, what I guess the response of Mensah giving like concrete orders, like, I command you to do this. And they're like, oh, how could she? Where it's, Mensah's walking that
Uncool.
fine line between friend, mentor, almost mother figure, and then like leader of this operation. But then there's the discussion of them kind of saying, well, she's not even like the leader of this operation. She's just in the same, you know what I mean? Like she's just like one of us.
What happened to, consensus, that kind of
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
And so what's the like, how are you guys going to come to, while you guys debate consensus, things are going to keep transpiring. And I think that that's like the one flaw with their little consensus plan, like out in the field.
Yeah.
But, we've also at the same time got a lot going on inside that living pod.
Hmm.
And so they're outside, they're trying to debate, Ratthi grabs a gun. Which I think were some of the funniest parts of this
So
episode.
good. So good. I can't
The
wait to get
swinging
to
it around.
I cannot wait to get to his storyline this episode. It was no notes, 10 out of 10.
But we see, like, she's determined to help Murderbot. And so she grabs that mining drill on the way in. And you see, like, she, jams it through the bot's chest. But then she's like really, really like affected by it. Like you would think that she killed like a member of her team versus some random murderous, black ops bot that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
there to kill all of them
Right.
via their own spec op or spec unit. And I think like she's a really good character to have as like the lead of the coalition that's there,
Yeah.
because she is very caring, but she's also like very committed. So she's not going to leave anybody behind. Like if she's not going to leave a sec unit behind, we know she wouldn't leave one of her own people behind. And
Yeah,
it's kind of
definitely.
amazing to see like how emotionally connected that she has somehow become with Murderbot, and trying to like, guide him down the hall,
Mhm.
get him out of the room, that kind of thing. So I don't know. I think we're like really starting to see more of her character take shape, even though I feel like this is crazy. We're almost halfway through.
Right. I think with Dr. Mensah, she's got this interesting like aspect quality to her where I think it feels very genuine how she's kind of like troubled and having these anxiety attacks and she's
Yeah.
struggling at moments. But when it comes down to go time and, things are looking pretty bad, she's very much capable and able to react and do what needs to be done. And so she's not this, like you said, this like black ops person storming in with like full capabilities, knowing what she's doing. But like she does have that aspect to her where like if she has to do it, she's going to do it. It's
Right.
just that issue of having emotions getting involved, between that. Like when Murderbot's like, "Hey, you gotta shoot me, you gotta kill me. I'm gonna, this isn't
Yeah,
good."
the ending
He's
was
like,
kind
"No,
of
no, no,
wild,
no, no."
but if she weren't who she is, they'd be dead.
Right. Right.
Like if you really look at it from like the big picture, if she hadn't cared so much and took that mining drill back in, they'd all be dead, because that like data override would take effect. He would have gotten up and he would have killed all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and so, yeah, her taking down that one rogue, like, black sec unit, it didn't cancel the connection fully, but it kind of, like, gave
Yeah.
Murderbot a little bit more time where it was able to act independently and, like, remove it, but at the same time, like, even though it was removed, then like, it was kind of like that ticking time bomb.
Right. And I kind of feel like, so since you brought up the ending where he was like, sorry guys, pop. Um, I mean, the the Black Ops Sec unit took that mining drill through the same spot and was eventually able to get up.
Right,
So I
right.
have to wonder, will that kind of act as like a reset?
See, here okay, without spoiling anything, there's one person on the preservation team, and honestly, I don't even remember how this happens in the book, so it's not even a spoiler now that I think about it. But there is one person on the research team who Garathan, who is pretty
Oh
techy,
my
and
God, I forgot
so
we didn't even see him this
yeah,
episode.
him and Bartalage, not
Yeah, we
even
didn't see
there.
either
Yeah.
one of them. I forgot that like there were other characters still back at
Right.
the home pod.
Right, and I mean, they told Murderbot, like, "We gotta get you back, like, Garathan can help," and what I'm really excited is I know in one of
Ooh.
the trailers or previews, I don't remember which one it was, there's a scene where Garathan is like I think he says something about, like, it's hacked its governor module, and then Grathan says, "It calls itself Murderbot." Like, why aren't you freaking out? So I have to assume the next episode is going to be that big reveal. Like, Grathan's gonna go
Ah,
in, try and fix Murderbot, and then, like
is gonna find out what Murderbot's been doing.
yeah,
Which
once
isn't
he's poking
really,
around in there, he's
yeah,
gonna
but
see
is
some things.
he's what's he gonna see? How much TV Murderbot's been watching? Because like I don't really think that there's anything too untoward in there outside of like I think Murderbot's a cool name and I really love space soaps. So like it's not like he's been planning a world takeover. Like we're going to
Right.
get in there and find out that while he has been watching TV when he's not supposed to, that's about like the worst of his crimes right now.
Yeah, and all other data shows that Murderbot, when it comes down to it, Murderbot's been trying to protect these people and hasn't acted nefariously in trying to like hurt any of them.
No, even at the end of
So,
this episode, like it, took a bullet to avoid hurting these people.
yeah, exactly. And not just a bullet, but like full, like the end, like
Right. A
that
close range.
right, right. That could have legitimately taken Murderbot down for good forever. And so, yeah, I think, I don't know, Mensah, MVP of the episode, I feel like. I love how she's able to get in there, get stuff done. And as, the team kind of comes together and does end up helping, I think it's really on her, like they only got as far as they did because of her like swift action. But I don't know. It was a good
It really
episode for
was.
her.
Yeah. I mean, granted, it was mostly her and Murderbot.
Right. Should we move to Murderbot now? The star of this
The real
episode.
star.
Yes. Um, this episode for Murderbot was incredible. There was so many moments, like specifically I love how just right off the jump we move into the episode, Murderbot's getting dragged behind this rogue, like dark sec unit. What does Murderbot do? He's like, it's in the feed immediately, completely connected to Sanctuary Moon. It's kind of like staticky and kind of fizzling
Yeah,
out,
because didn't it
but
say that
reverting right
it's
back to the safe space of
right?
within the feed.
because it says in there that, like, due to loss of, like, performance for the time being, that it was just being flooded by whatever large data
Yeah.
was left, and turns out a lot of the data in Murderbot's system is Sanctuary Moon.
Yeah.
I think that, like, I also really enjoyed, later in the episode where Murderbot's hallucinating themselves in a position in
The
Sanctuary Moon.
self-insert fanfic Sanctuary
Yeah,
Moon. Oh god, dude.
it was so, I don't know what to do.
The moment the camera pans to Alexander Skarsgård in the jumpsuit with the coiffed, like, dark wig on with that, like, goofy, like, happy, bewildered face, I was like, "This is so good." Like, I don't want it to end. I just want it to keep going, and then he brought Mensah into it too, like, "Captain."
You know who I really enjoy as a cameo in the show
Hmm.
is Clark Gregg. Um,
Is
he
that one of the Sanctuary Moon
Yeah,
characters?
he's a huge part of the Marvel universe, like a
Which
big
one which one is it?
Agent Phil Coulson. That's who he plays in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I thought it was like fun to bring him in for this because, a big part of his, role in the Marvel universe is aliens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I
So they
love that
kind
they
of
like keep
typecast
having
him a
him
little
on.
bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's like a hero in the Marvel universe.
I think that whole, I don't know, hallucination trip, it it worked so good, like, talking about the humor of this episode. I I don't know what I was expecting. It was not that, but, like, when it happened, I was like, "Oh, I could watch a whole episode of this easily." Like, just them being in the show, and I mean, obviously, like, it's only this episode was, like, 20 minutes or something like that, but, like, that,
Criminally
like
short.
yeah, criminally, but that jolt, like, the camera panning to it, and I was just like, "Oh god, this is so good. This is so good." And then, I mean, the comedic timing of this episode just, like, it hits so hard. So we've got that moment, and then
Like,
Murderbot when he's like, "Oh no, I've gotta stall this other SecUnit," and so he starts singing to
the
him, and
theme
he's
song.
yeah, and it's
Oh,
like, what does it say?
he says,
It was
he said it worked perfectly. He was
I
mesmerized
distract
by the sound of my beautiful voice.
Yes, that line of dialogue is so good.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of what I really love in these episodes is the dialogue.
Yeah,
Like, the dialogue is really like where it's at. And it's not just Murderbot who has great dialogue. Like, a lot of the characters have really great, like, comedic timing dialogue.
they do. I think yeah, this whole episode really showcased that. I think even with Ping Li and Arata at moments where it was,
I
like,
feel like
very
Pin Lee, Arata, and Ratthi are like a group to talk about in this
yeah,
episode, like not necessarily individually, because the three of them have this whole weapons training dialogue going on, not necessarily about the weapons training, about the lack thereof. When Roddy picks up with that gun, and then he, like,
the
when he gets
trigger etiquette, just, like, waving it around non-existent.
and then when he gets close, he, like, of course, likes to talk on comms. So he gets back with, like, base, and he's like, "So what's, like, this dial on the side? And then what's on the other side?" When he goes, "Safety, got
The
it. Wish
safety.
me luck."
It was so good. I think I don't know.
Oh, knocked out by the gun when he fired.
I
Why
laughed
did he have it
so
so
hard.
close to his head? I can't. Okay, we can't talk about that too much, or I'm going to spend the whole time laughing because I just get.
The way the way that that was threaded in from last episode was like perfect
It was so
comedic
perfect.
setup, because there was that whole event where they're like, oh, he's been playing this video game or whatever without them, and they were mad about it. He has to stay on the ship because he didn't have any weapons training. And like it all leads up to this perfect moment of
This
him knocking himself out with like the kickback of the gun. And it like perfection.
also,
Perfection.
like, it was perfection because we're in like a really, like high tension moment where,
Yes.
Mensah is trying to save Murderbot. They're trying to get away from the dastardly bot. And then
Mhm.
Ratti's going to shoot the door, which, assuming it's an energy weapon and that would have worked. But then they like burst out through an explosion like 10 feet down the way.
He gets in as they're coming out.
uh,
Oh,
and then, immediately into knocking yourself out with a gun. And then, like, we go right back into like a touching, more serious drama moment. But
yeah.
it's, oh God, I love this show so much.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I wasn't, man, like I just didn't know what to expect. And as these episodes keep going, it just gets better and better. Like I liked the first 2, 3 episodes, but this is like,
This one was
yeah, like
hilarious.
it's starting to really peak
I
for me.
I had to like rewind the show a couple times while I was watching because I would start laughing so hard about something that I'd be like, wait, what happened after that? Because I
Yeah.
wasn't paying attention. Plus, I think that this is the best rescue op I've ever seen, like ever. I don't know if I've ever seen something more as entertaining as this rescue op.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like it was a good teamwork moment where you've got little bits from each character where they're contributing to this rescue mission. And, there's some bumps along the way, like Roddy hitting himself in
Weapons
the face.
training,
Yeah, yeah, but
thruple contracts, like
right. But then when Arata and Penlee come in and just even that, so it's like they smash this dark sec unit. Not only do they smash it, but then there's that kind of like added
that
layer
was
comedic
killer.
moment where they're
That
just
was
like
killer. Like,
they keep landing on it and like smashing
then
it like a bug
they
multiple
dropped
times.
it and it started to move, so they smashed it again, and then they get out and they're like, ugh, gross.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
It
it's
was,
really well done.
oh my God. It, I will be so impressed if they can top this episode.
Right? Right?
Like,
I
yeah.
already see this going into being one of my favorite shows of the
Oh,
year. Like,
yes.
we both really liked American Primeval, and that came, like, right at the beginning of
Oh,
2025. That was
this is
very
gonna be
good.
a this is gonna be a hard. I think I like this more than American
Yeah,
Primeval.
same,
Yeah,
same.
in American Primeval it's not even in the realm of stuff I'm normally into,
Me
but it was
either.
so well written
Mhm.
that like I really enjoyed it. But yeah, this is gonna take its spot, and American Primeval is gonna be like drop down one spot.
Yeah, yeah. I think the thing for me is I already just really enjoy science fiction. And so
Yeah,
I think like I was going to like this no matter what the tone was, whether it be more serious or more, whatever.
I would
But
agree.
I think just, like the narrations of Murderbot, how funny they
Those are the
are.
best. One
So
of the
good.
best parts.
Yeah, like there's this very like charming, almost naive way that Murderbot is talking about itself and narrating things, and just it's very sincere, but it's also I don't know, the comedic timing on it is so good, and I think Alexander Skarsgård nailing it,
Yes.
like nailing it. It's mind-boggling to me that this is the same guy that played the main character in The Northman. Like, the same guy that played Eric Northman
Oh
on
no,
True Blood.
I
Like,
actually think this fits really well with Eric from True Blood.
well,
It's got a little bit of all of his
yeah.
True Blood personas.
Yeah, but True Blood, he's definitely more
Yeah, it's less
like,
comedic, more
yeah.
serious.
Yeah, like, you don't get that kind of awkwardness there, except for that one moment where it's Eric Northman memory wipe
Yeah.
era.
Yeah, the
But
witch era, the witch season.
yeah, but I mean, I think, like, looking at it, this is another thing that I read that I thought was really funny. So he was fully committed this season, and Alexander Skarsgård, I guess it was like 6 months of filming or something like that, and decided, "Okay, like, I'm a robot." So he was doing full body waxes to be completely hairless for the role of
That's
Murderbot.
commitment.
That is commitment
It's commitment.
because he was saying, like, "I don't know why I did it. I didn't, I decided I should." And he said, like, by the end of it, he's been, like, doing full body waxing just to really, like, get into the role of this, like, hairless android character.
Oh,
Nobody would have seen it because his arms and legs are covered anyways for the
right. I
most
would
part.
never known.
You
I
could have
never would have known.
he could have
I
shaved.
love the commitment.
Yeah, but I know, like, later on throughout the books, there is this added element of Murderbot trying to not look like a sec unit, and so that aspect of him being hairless, like, it does mean something for the story, but for the TV show, it wouldn't have been necessary.
Right.
So, I don't
I
know.
I just thought of like another part, like a really quiet line. I love the quiet lines. Those are almost always the best. Where like right towards the end, Mensah's looking at him and he like kind of whispers, "I hate eye contact." And that's where you kind of see it like all come back for him. Like the eye contact is what triggered all of those everything to come back, and then he was like, "Oh no, I gotta end it."
Yeah. Yeah, and he does. It does. I think with the ending of this one, for one, like, I'm really excited to see, the next episode where I'm assuming we're gonna start right back up, like, hauling him out of the hopper, get him set up somewhere so they can try and fix him. But after all of the action, it's gonna be interesting, like, how do they reset things? And then also, this is gonna be the next episode, episode 5, so that's, like, our mid-season
Our midpoint.
mark. Yeah.
So I kind of feel like when they find out what he's been doing, which they're going to find out, that he's logged like thousands of hours of television
Mhm.
watching, primarily in space soaps. I feel like Mensah is going to come to his defense here and talk about how this is more like sentience and that needs to be respected, kind of thing, because they already feel like his situation is just blatant slavery.
Right.
So I think that when a number of the people on the team find out that he's doing like entertainment activities with his
Mhm.
broken governor,
Right.
they're gonna feel even more you know sympathetic to his plight. I don't think this is gonna go bad for him. I think all that TV he watched is actually gonna kind of save him, because then it's gonna be like, okay, so
What?
you broke your governor to watch TV. Okay.
Got it. Got it.
The least nefarious thing ever.
Right, right, and I mean, it's very humanizing as well,
Yeah,
like,
it is. And that's kind of like what I'm getting at. Like they're already humanizing him. This is
Mhm.
only gonna send that even further.
Yeah. I do expect a couple of more, like, dramatic moments, but I don't think it's gonna be, like, I don't think they're gonna withhold, like, "To be continued next episode, everyone's scared for their safety," or whatever. I think they're gonna hopefully, like, wrap it up, and we'll just, like, move right along into whatever is to happen next because
Yeah, I feel like they've kind of set the stage to do that at this point, though, because of all of the humanizing the whole crew, minus Garathan, has done with SecUnit.
Right. Right. We will see. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on?
Uh, not that I can really think of.
The only thing that I wanted to talk about is that opening scene because we learn that the character, the technicians in this lab are indentured technicians, and so they're working off.
That's insane.
Yeah, like they're working off crimes or something, or
I
maybe
That's what I
like
was wondering. Is it
money.
like a loan sharking thing? Is it like
Yeah,
a prison work camp? Like what how did these people end up here? And so like I think that it kind of fits with what this crew's been talking about, but it's not just like slavery at the SecUnit level, it's slavery all the way down.
yeah, like this is jumping into one of my favorite. I mean, not favorite, like, I love it, but I love this aspect in science fiction a lot. Like, I love how dystopian it gets because, for one, this aspect of, like, indentured workers, whatever, it's very much giving, like, company towns. So, like, back in the day
Yeah.
when coal miners, like, they would work for a coal mining company, and then they would get paid with, like, coal mining vouchers that they could only spend within the company, and the
Company
company would.
stores.
Yeah, company stores, and then so you got something somewhat similar to that. Like, it really makes me think of Octavia Butler and, like, Parable of the Sower, and there's just a lot of really dark things tucked away in something that's very, like, ha ha funny, and
Yeah.
so I don't know, like, great job for them making that all work because whoever had the idea to be like, "No, we're gonna make it funny." I kind of feel like if I was sitting at the round table when someone presented that, I would be like, "No, that's a terrible idea. Don't
Well,
do that."
well,
But
it adds like some context to things. So, at first, like we see the sec units and they're like, yeah, sometimes they go rogue. And then we find out, like, as we're taking a tour through this indentured servant factory, that as long as they're within like regulation levels,
Mhm.
they'll be pushed out. Like, if it's acceptable, they'll keep pushing the product. And they're like, whatever, they go rogue all the time, like
Yeah.
because of whatever reasons. And it it puts it like it puts a lot more together, so you're like, okay, these aren't like, they're not in the best manufacturing process, they're being made by people who are not being paid, they're being forced to be there, and then they themselves are kind of locked into these like servitude contracts.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of puts like some foundation in when you're thinking about what's happening in the story anyway. Why are these bots going rogue? Well, it's maybe it could either be, these rogue sec bots doing it, or it could just be like, a bad model from the factory kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just, man, like, thinking about the future of this show, if they end up getting more seasons, which I'm sure they will. I'm very curious because as the story progresses, you're going to meet more characters, new locations, etc. I wonder if they're going to be able to carry the tone, like that
All the way
underlying
through.
humor all the way through
Yeah.
when we don't have preservation team front and center, if that makes sense.
It does make sense because I think that they carry a lot of the weight of the tone.
Yeah, agreed. Like, Murderbot's quips,
Yeah,
delightful,
are great.
hilarious,
It would still
but
be funny if all we get is his quips and narration,
yeah,
but uh the Preservation Alliance carries a lot of the comedic timing weight.
yeah, yeah. But that's all I got. That's all I
Me
got.
too. I'm excited for next week.
Me too. So I guess we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you would like to help support the channel, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. We will be back with the next episode and we will see you then.